Hello, and welcome to another episode of The End of the Search. This one I call it The Joy of Living. Okay, before going on with the topic, always remember, in case you're new to this video series, what we point is to the fact that I am to the nature of being. Also referred as non-duality, meaning that it is life itself, is what cannot be described, cannot be even talked about it. When you're sleeping and you're dreaming, the only thing that is real would be the mind in bed dreaming the dream, and that will be wholeness. It'll just what is. The dream and everything that is included in the dream is not reality, is dualism, is fragmentation, is division. But the source itself is whole. So what we are is wholeness at all times. In the same way that the dream is made of thoughts, well, what we are is, and this seeming human experience would be the product of thoughts. That's what's referred to as projections. However, for some reason, I noticed that life inspires me to talk about certain topics that can be very relevant to your experience, and in the end it all points to the fact that I am, but somehow these are the words that are chosen, so I'm just observe how life is living me, and respecting that, let's talk about the joy of living. The joy of living is simply the joy of not believing our thoughts, you see, because when you're believing your thoughts, you're not living, you're fantasizing. Two very different things. Because living is the experience right now of being, is the joy of being, the joy of living. No matter what happens, no matter what thoughts appear, no matter what sensations appear, no matter what circumstances, is the joy of being, is the expression of aliveness. When I believe the thoughts, obviously is because I have believed the first thought that suggests that I am this seeming individual. That's why all the other thoughts have something to attach to. You see? So when I believe the fantasies, I am still being, but I'm distracted by the fantasies, and therefore, even though it appears that I am living, I am not living, I am fantasizing. And the fantasy, if I like it, I say I'm happy, but if I don't like it, I say that I am not happy. And this is the pendulum in which most people live, because they believe the thoughts they like, and they think that they're happy for a moment, because then the thoughts they don't like appear, and then they think they're not happy. And what they do, they spend their whole life trying to pursue the pleasure, the things that they claim that they like, to avoid the things or the experience of feeling separate, scarce. They just don't realize. They think that it's not because they feel separate. They think that it's because these are things I don't like, and I rather have these other things, you see. But in the end, the pursuit of whatever the case may be comes from lack. And the lack is illusory, because the lack suggests that I am separate from wholeness, and therefore I, this separate entity, needs something in order to feel whole. You see, we think that we do because we want to feel happy. You know, but in reality, what we're looking is for wholeness, and we are already whole. If you're sleeping and you're dreaming, what you're looking is to remember that you're in bed and you never left home. But because you have forgotten that you are already home, in the dream, the mind fabricates all sort of escapism to try to somehow find the feeling that is experienced when I know that I am home. But that feeling will never be experienced, because as long as the dream is still intact, I will always experience lack, separation, and consequently, I will always be in a perpetual state of seeking. Well, these videos are pointing to the fact that you are, so the seeking immediately stops, because the seeking needs a seeker. Without the seeker, there's no seeking, and that seeker is the sense of identity, the belief that I'm this separate individual. So what we do here, or what is being done here, we or whatever, it doesn't matter, what is expressed through this seeming instrument is that right now, life is, and right now, life always is. And if you really are willing to do the investigation, you find out that all that there is this. It doesn't matter what sensations may be appearing, it doesn't matter what thoughts may be appearing, it doesn't matter what circumstances right now. If you don't believe the fantasies, you are being, and you experience the joy of being, the joy of living at all times. And yes, sometimes can be uncomfortable, but the joy is in the recognition that I am, not in that the uncomfortable feelings go away. See, you are in joy because that's what you are. And everything are just simply different textures of this seeming human experience. And yesterday you feel one way, today you feel differently. You see, look how everything changes. But what is it that never changes? Which is what these videos are pointing to. What never changes is being. That's what is meant by the joy of being, or the joy of living. So notice that you're always joy, no matter what. Not that you personally notice, but it's experienced through you. You're always in joy. You can never not be joy. You can never not be peace. You can never not be happiness. It's impossible. You can never not be anything other than the fact that you are. And again, don't associate happiness with pleasure and joy with particular experiences and peace with a particular sensation, because you get caught up again in the mind's interpretation. I am talking about this right now. Let's put it together, you and I. Let's not just, this is not esoteric. If you're going through challenging situations, I honor, I respect that, I understand. I am not here being disrespectful or somehow unkind about it, but this is just an invitation. That's all there is, just an invitation, okay? If you choose to take advantage of the invitation, great. If you choose not to, right, well, you cannot make the choice anyway because you're not the doer. But what I mean is that if for some reason life through you is not ready to accept the invitation, it's fine. There's no mistakes here. Life will continue to give you more opportunities to remember that you are alive. So right now, the invitation is this. Don't believe any thoughts. I'm not asking you to close your eyes or put yourself in a particular space, because this is about living, this is about being, this is not about specific moments in times in which I just give my time to do whatever the case may be. Again, this is very simple. Right now, as you're listening to me, while you're listening, while your eyes are open, even if you may be even doing something, who knows, you may be driving while you're listening to this. So again, all I'm asking is that right now, don't believe any thoughts. Just don't believe any thoughts for a moment. Right now, just don't believe any thoughts. Now notice what remains. I'm not asking you to answer me what remains, because you went back to the mind. This is not something that can be talked about. We're just pointing. Notice what remains when the thoughts are seen and not believed in. What remains is being, is what is. You follow? That's what remains. And the invitation here in these videos is just to remain as this, which is what is always, but it's been overlooked, overshadowed by the fantasy, by the thoughts, by believing in them. So right now, if you don't believe any thoughts, what remains? You see? The thing is that as long as we hold on to an identity, this seems to be impossible, because I need thoughts to hold on to an identity. This is sort of like a deconstruction of the false sense of identity. If you say, I am Joe, or I am Mary, I'm a mother, I'm a father, any word you put next to the I am is a distraction. This is why this is a total deconstruct of the sense of identity. So yeah, for the sake of, in the world of appearances and communication, your daughter or son comes to you and you say, Dad, you're not going to say, I am, I'm not your dad. No, you play the role. While at the same time, while you're hugging them and kissing them and telling them how much you love them, at the same time, you know that these are words that are coming up. You see? And you know that you're not anything, you simply are, you're being. While you go to work and you interact with people and everything, you call them by their names and they refer to you as the boss or co-worker or whatever, you play the role, but you know, in the end, you know that it's just what is. And in that sense, you are experiencing the joy of living always, because you're not identified with a fantasy. I'm a father, I am a mother, I am a husband, I am a wife, I am divorced, I am married, I am this, I am that. You see, it's just basically words that come through and you play the role. You know, I play all kinds of roles all the time. I play the role of a happy person. Sometimes I play the role of somebody who's having a challenging situation or a challenging day or thoughts that are a little bit overwhelming. And then I see them and okay, that's just what it is, which is a good thing in a sense. You know, I play the role of somebody who sometimes do this and sometimes do that. I play the role of a musician. I play the role of somebody who create videos in YouTube. I play the role of a friend. I play the role of... All these roles are played, you know, as part of the human experience, which is dualistic in nature. But the fact that I am remains. That never changes. Well, the way life is living through this seeming instrument is never losing sight of the fact that I am. See? And once again, I'm not saying that I don't have this, I don't experience the emotions and the sensations and all the things that people experience. Yeah, I experience all of that. But somehow there's a thermostat that knows that I am. And the invitation with these videos is drilling the same message over and over again. So at least that thermostat is very alive in you. And now you know that if you're going through challenging experiences or situations that the mind labels a problem or whatever, you simply know that you are. While you watch how life solve that particular situation, either because life inspired you to do something about it, and if you find yourself something about it, you know that it's not a choice you made, it's just simply how life is unfolding. That's what I mean. And sometimes you don't have to do anything about it and life figure itself out. You know, but again, we don't have to get caught up into all these details, because again, the mind can come up with all sorts of questions about what if this or what if that. The answer is very simple. I don't know. I don't need to know, and I don't want to know, because I am. And in the I am, just watch the play unfold, because it's doing it anyway. I'm not saying something that if you don't do this, look what's going to happen. No, whatever's going to happen is going to happen anyway. I mean, I'm sorry, but that's just the way, you know, what can I tell you? What is meant to happen will happen. What is not meant to happen will not happen, you know. And if you have a thought that says, no, I'm in control of my life, okay, go ahead, be my guest. I'm not trying to convince anybody of anything. I'm just pointing that if for some reason you find yourself being swinging back and forth, you know, between pain and pleasure and all that stuff, well, there's another possibility that has been overlooked, and this is what is being offered in these videos if you're open to it. And that's why I'm inviting you right now. If you don't believe any thoughts, what remains? And that itself is proof enough of what we're talking about here. Now you carry this through everything you do, and you'll find out that the answer is always the same. What remains if I don't believe any thoughts about this or about that? What remains? Just notice, just do the investigation. And the question is, do you really want what remains, or you want the excitement of what the thoughts are trying to sell you? And many people, they prefer the excitement. They just live for that. They're addicted to that, and they're whatever. And there's nothing wrong with that, because they're not even making that decision. That is life through them doing it. So again, I'm not pointing fingers nor correcting or making anybody right or wrong. I'm saying that if for some strange reason you find yourself completely absorbed in appearances and emotions and everything, well, maybe life is giving you an opportunity to notice that there's another way of living your experience, which is what is referred to as living in the world with a mind that is not of it. That's the invitation. These videos are not about making your dreams come true. They're not about changing anything. They're not about trying to fix anything. There's nothing to fix. It's about recognizing that you always are, have always been. And that beingness is not affected, is untouched by anything. That's the invitation. People who still pursuing dreams and things like that, wonderful. I wish them the best. I hope all your dreams come true if that's what you want, because I want the best for you. But for some reason, those who have tried that and they could not, they struggle and they couldn't make them happen, or they don't have the energy to make them happen because they don't even know what is it they want anymore, and they're very confused, and they're in a practically in a closed-end loop down the rabbit hole. There's a way out. I've always been available, just been overlooked. And the way out is not in the mind, nor through the mind, is transcending the mind. And the transcendence we're speaking of here, by the way, mind is thoughts, is what I mean. It's very simple. It's not that I'm going to transcend the thoughts that they will never be there. That's not transcending. It's just trying to somehow manipulate. No. Transcendence is what is happening right now when you don't believe the thoughts. Let's put it to the test. Come on, give it a shot. If you don't believe any thoughts right now, what remains? Even if the thoughts are there, let them be. That's fine. If you don't believe any thoughts, what remains? See, you cannot answer it. Because this is not about it's not about answering a question, but this is the transcendence that we're pointing to here. And as trust, as life is more and more embraced and integrated, then you realize that this is the natural way of being, because that's always been like that. And as a consequence, you experience the joy of living. And well, this is inspiration that came through. I hope it served. And as always, may peace permeate the mind so that love can become evident.